Alright, in this video I'm going to go ahead and work out all the problems on the study guide for section 3.2 and 3.3, which is very similar to the problems that you will see on the quiz for sections 3.2 and 3.3. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to jump right into number 1. And number 1 has a simplify 3m minus 2m plus 3. Not solve, just simplify. So in a problem like this, you should right away look for combining like terms, because that's the theme for this section. This is a problem out of section 3.2. So you look for your like terms. I have 3 terms here in total. 1, 2, 3, and 2 different types of terms. I have an m term here, another m term here, and then I have a constant kind of all on its own right here. So I combine any like terms that I have, and in this case that's only the m terms. 3m minus 2m, that is just m, or 1m, but I'm not going to write the 1 in front of here. So there's just 1m, and then the plus 3 just carries over. That's it. That's number 1. That's all there is to it. Let's do number 2. Number 2 is 20q plus 12 minus 6q plus 11. So this one has 4 total terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's still only 2 term types. We have q terms. We also have constants. In this case, we have 2 constants. In the last problem, we only had 1 constant. This will allow us to combine our constants here too. So just like before, we're going to combine our like terms, and 20q take away 6q, so we pretend that 12 is not there. So 20q minus 6q, that gives us 14q. And 12 plus 11, this minus belongs to the q term, so we ignore it. You kind of cover this up when you look at the constants. So 12 plus 11, well, that's going to give us a 23. And that's it. That's the answer for number 2, 14q plus 23. As simple as that. All right, moving on to number 3. Number 3, we have 15w, 3y, plus 4w, plus 6y, minus 12. It looks big, but it's really easy. 5 terms total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 different term types. That's the only thing that's new here. Now I have 3 different term types. I have a w term. Then I have y terms. Use a different color for the y terms. Y term, and then I have a single lonely constant, all by itself. All right. Again, let's combine our like terms, because that's the only thing you can do here in simplification problems like this. 15w plus 4w, ignore this negative because it belongs to the y term. We're looking at w terms here. 15w plus 4w, that's 19w. I'll put this arrow here. We're continuing our work here. Now, here's a point where some of you get confused at. Yes, right now that's a subtraction. But, what happens if I cover up this 15w right here? That looks like a negative 3y, doesn't it? So that's how you work out a problem like this. So if I were to cover this up right here, kind of looks like a negative 3y plus 6y. So that's why I use a term that says negative 3y plus 6y. Yes, it used to be a subtraction, but now that you've covered up the y term, looks like a negative 3y plus 6y. And if you combine those two together, you're going to get just 3y. Negative 3y plus 6y, that's 3y. And then, of course, we have our constant all by itself. And that's the answer. That's all you can do. Moving on to number 4. Again, simplify. 3 times 11 minus x plus 14x plus 6. All right. The first thing I want to do here is to break up this parenthesis. Why? Because I can't really do anything else until this parenthesis is gone. It's the highest order of operation. PEMDAS or PIMA parenthesis is the highest order. So I need to break up that parenthesis so I can do something else. So the way I break up that parenthesis is by distributing whatever's outside of it, in this case the 3, to everything inside. Alright, we could do that. 3 times 11, that's 33. 3 times negative x, so 3 times a negative x is a negative 3x, because when you multiply a positive and a negative number, you get a negative answer, different signs. Plus 14x plus 6. Alright, terrific. Now we can combine our like terms. I have 4 terms here, 2 different term types. I have that for a 3x and the 14x, but I also have a pair of constants. Okay, perfect. So what do we do next? Combine the terms. I'm going to start with I'll start with the constants because I have a constant first here. What's 33? And again, I want to cover up the x terms because we're not dealing with them. That minus belongs to the x terms, so I'm going to cover it up so it doesn't confuse anyone. What's 33 plus 6? Well, that's easy. That's just 39. And then I'm going to cover up the constant here. What's negative 3x? That minus sign turned into, or that subtraction turned into a negative now. What's negative 3x plus 14x plus 11x? And that's the answer. That is the answer. So 39 plus 11x is it for number 4. Let's go ahead and move on to number 5. And of course you can ask me to pause this anytime that you like, or for me to rewind and go over again, or just explain the problem. Number 5. Number 5 still says simplify. This one looks to be the same type of problems as before, just I threw more things in here. There's just a lot of going on. But it's still the same work that you've done in the previous 4 problems. Okay, looks big and complicated. It's really not. Just like in the previous problem, parenthesis. Got to break up that parenthesis first. So the first step, the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to break up the parenthesis. So I'm going to bring this down, 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 and I'm only going to work on the parenthesis. And the way I break up that parenthesis is that I multiply whatever's outside by everything inside. Which means 4 times 6g, that is 24g. Yes, that's correct. 4 times negative 5 is a negative 20. And I'm bringing down my 17g. I'm bringing down my minus 13. There's a plus there. Plus 24 minus g. Then I'm going to combine my like terms. It looks like a ton of terms. There's 6 of them there. but only two different term types, which is nice and convenient. G term, G term, G term, constant, constant, constant. All right. Now all we can do is combine our like terms. 17g plus 24g, ignore this minus, it's with a constant. So 17g plus 24g, that's going to give us, oh, let's see here, 43g. I think that's right. Let me quickly go through my, no, 41g. 41g. All right, good. That is 41, right? Yes. Yes, 41g. And I still have this minus g here. So, I probably, okay. Anyways, I'll just rewrite everything else. Minus 20 plus 24 minus g. I guess I'll remark everything again. Alrighty. And these are all constant. I didn't mean to do this a step at a time, but oh well. 41g minus a g, that's 40g. Negative 13 minus 20, negative 13 minus 20, that's going to be a negative 33 plus 24. And then I just need to combine these two constants here. So the answer, the final answer is 40g, negative 33 plus 24, that's going to be a negative 9. And unless I did my math incorrect somewhere in there, which is a possibility as you probably have seen so far, that should be the right answer. All right. And you could have, you didn't need this step here, and you didn't need this step here. You probably could have gone from here straight down to here, and then straight down to your answer. Anyways, that's 5. Moving on to number 6. 6 is the first problem where we're actually going to be solving. It says solve. So let's solve. Okay, 4m plus 5 minus 2m equals to 15. The reason we have to solve this is because we have an equation here. So they're asking us to isolate the m. Find what is m equal to. Not a problem, we could do that, but first we got to combine our like terms because it's hard to isolate m when there's two of them. Let's get down to just one m term. I also have a pair of constants, but I can't combine them because they're on different sides of the equation. Okay, 4m minus 2m, that's just 2m, plus 5 equals to 15. Now this is a two-step equation. That's not so bad. We know how to do these. Isolate m by getting rid of this and this, and I'm going to choose this because it's further away. What's the opposite of plus 5? Minus 5. Hopefully everyone knows this by now. Now I have 2m, that's gone, and here that's just equals to 10. 15 minus 5. Then what do I do next? I get rid of this 2. It's being multiplied by the m. What's the opposite of multiplied by the m? Divide, of course. So, that being said, my final answer, 2 divided by 2 is 1, so that's gone. So m equals to 10 divided by 2, right here, that's 5. And I can check my work by taking this 5, plugging it in here for the m, here, crunching up my numbers, and getting a 15. If I do, then it's right. If it's not, then you know you made a mistake. And with these problems, as you've seen, it's not that difficult to make a mistake, especially if you get a behemoth of a problem like this one, where there's a lot of addition and subtraction that goes on, and it's real easy to make a mistake. So I've made mistakes on problems much smaller than that. You know that. So learn from my mistakes. Number 7 is next. Alrighty. So number 7, we have 12x minus 3 plus 4x plus 11 equals to 24. Works out the same way as number 6 did. It's a two-step equation. No, it's a multi-step equation. And the first thing that we need to do is combine our like terms, because we can't solve for x until we have just one x to solve for. So I'm going to combine my x term. I'm going to combine my constants. This is also a constant, but as you remember, I'm not going to be able to do anything with it because it's on the other side of the equation. All right. 12x plus 4x. Ignore this negative because it belongs to the constant. So 12x plus 4x, that's 16x. Now with the constants, negative 3 plus 11. That's going to be a positive, so plus, and that's an 8. All of that equals to 24. Okay, now it's a two-step equation, which we can easily do. Get rid of this and this to isolate this, and the plus 8 term is further away. The opposite of plus 8 is minus 8 from both sides. Not from both terms, both sides. I've actually seen some of you do that. You will take away 8 from both of these terms. No. Just an 8 from each side is enough. Plus 8 minus 8, that's gone. So I have 16x equals to, what's 24 minus 8? That's 16. It's going to be a nice ending here. How to get rid of a 16 times? The opposite is divide by 16, the opposite of multiplication. And look at that, both of them cancel out. 16 divided by 16 is 1, that simplifies to 1. 16 divided by 16, that simplifies to 1. So x is 1. And that's it, that's number 7. Alright, moving on to number 8 now. Again, it says solve. So we have 5y plus 6 times 2y plus 3 minus 4 equals to 48. Okay, that looks a bit tougher, but it's just a bit more work. Nothing bad. So just like before, parenthesis means we got to break down that parenthesis, and we do that by distributing whatever's outside of the parenthesis to whatever's inside. And when I say distributing, I mean multiplication. Okay, I'm going to write the 5y over because nothing changes there. 6 times 2y, that's 10y. 6 times 2y, that's 10y. 6 times 3, that's 18. Minus 4 equals to 48. Okay, time to combine our like terms. Y term, constant, although I won't be able to combine this constant with the others because it's on the other side of the equation. Alright, 5y plus 10y, 15y, 18 minus 4, it's going to be plus 14. All that equals to 48. Ooh. Looks like this one, unless I did my math correctly, is not going to work out the way I hoped it would. Oh well. Oh well. That's fine. We're just going to have a fraction for an answer. It's not a big deal. Subtract 14 from both sides because that's the further term. 15y equals to 48 minus 14 is going to give us a 34. I was hoping it would come out to 30. But that's okay. Again, we're going to get a fraction for an answer. At least that's the answer. We don't have to do anything else with that fraction. Divide by 15 on both sides. Because this 15 is being multiplied, we want to divide to isolate it. And that cancels out to 1. And y equals to 34 over 15. Or you can also write that as 2 and 4/15. Either way, I'll be happy with either answer. You don't have to break them down to the decimal. So on the quiz, if you give me either one of those two, I'll give you full credit. All right, that was 8. Moving on to 9 now. Pretty close to finishing here. W over 4 plus 11 over 4 equals to 26 over 4. Hey, it's our first problem with denominators, fractions. Not a problem. Whenever you see an equation because of the equal sign, and that equation has fractions or denominators, the first thing on your mind should be, how do I make those denominators disappear? And here they all have the same denominators, so you follow this simple strategy. Multiply both sides of the equation by the opposite of what you want to get rid of. So here, to get rid of the denominators, the denominators are divided by 4. To get rid of them, I do the opposite. What's the opposite of divide by 4? Multiply by 4. So I'm going to multiply left side by 4. I want to multiply right side by 4. And that's going to help me to get rid of the denominators. So I'm going to distribute this 4. So I'm going to have 4 times W over 4 plus 11 over 4 times 4. So I'm just distributing this 4 to both. And here I have 26 over 4 times 4. If it helps you, you can write this 4 over 1. That way you can visualize that 4 is in the denominator, because 4 over 1 is still 4. But what this allows us to do is to cancel out a 4 here, a 4 here, 4 in the numerator, 4 in the denominator. Cancel, 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 cancel. So after I do all that, I get W plus 11 equals to 26. Now I just have a single step left. This is not bad at all. Got to isolate this, the W, get rid of the W by, subtracting 11 from both sides, not adding. So W equals to 26 minus 11, which is 15. Final answer, you can verify it by taking this 15, plugging it in here, and then crunching your numbers. It should come up with this. All right, we have 10, 11, and 12 left. 3 more to go. Number 10 is very similar. Very similar. You solve it just like you solved number 9. An equation with denominators that are all the same. And it's 7. So we're dividing by 7. What's the opposite of divide by 7? Multiply by 7. So to get rid of the denominators, you want to multiply both sides by 7. Again, why by 7? Because here you're dividing by 7, divide by 7, divide by 7. To get rid of the divide by 7, you do the opposite. You multiply everything by 7. And you can do that as long as you do the same thing to both sides. So then I get 2m over 7, that's multiplied by 7, minus 13 over 7, that's multiplied by 7, equals to 17 over 7, which is again multiplied by 7. Now I can cancel out my denominator with my newly multiplied by 7. Perfect. All that's left is 2m minus 13 equals to 17. Two-step equation. Hopefully by this point in time you're probably, very good at these. I hope. I really, really hope. So you have 2m, that's gone. 17 plus 13, that's 30. And now get rid of that times by 2, which the opposite of that is divide by 2. That's gone. 30 divided by 2, 15. That's number 10. Voila. Not so bad, not so bad. All right, 2 more to go. Almost there. The last 2 are the fun ones. They're similar to number 9 and 10, except these guys, these terms, have different denominators. Now, just like with the problems with it before, the number 9 and 10, what you want to do first is get rid of the denominators. Make them to be non-fractions. Now, unlike the last 2 problems, we don't have the same denominator. So how do we get rid of them all? You can't just multiply everything by 3, because, yeah, sure, if you multiply everything by 3, it'll get rid of this denominator, but not the other 2. You have to multiply them by the LCD. Now, I'm not going to spend the time working out the LCD because I'm hoping, well, at least not for this one, because I'm hoping you can see what the LCD is here. The LCD for this problem is 9. 9 goes into 9 once, 3 goes into 9 3 times. So you multiply everything by the LCD, the 9. And that's going to help us to get rid of all of the denominators. So I have 2x over 3 times 9 minus 6 over 9 times 9 equals to 12 over 9 times 9. With these two, it's simple. Cross, 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 gone. Here, I'm going to write this 9 as a 3 times 3. I could do that, right? Pretend that instead of this 9, I have 3 times 3. This allows me to cross out this 3 and this 3. So, here I'm just left with 12. Here I'm just left with that minus 6. Here I'm left with 3 times 2, 6. You see that? 3 times 2x, 6x. But almost there now. Two-step equation. Get rid of the minus 6 first. It's further away by doing plus 6 to both sides. 6x, because this is gone, equals 218. Then you want to divide both sides by 6. That's gone. X equals to 18 divided by 6, which is 3. And you can verify that by taking this 3, plug it in right here, crunching your numbers, you should get that. Alright, last problem. Home stretch. Here we go. Number 12. So for number 12, we have a very similar problem to number 11. So again, we want to get rid of the denominators first. The only challenge here is that the LCD is a bit more difficult to spot because the LCD is not any of these numbers. 3 goes into 3, 6 doesn't go into 3, 3 goes into 6, but 4 doesn't go into 6, and 6 doesn't go into 4. So none of the numbers here are the LCD. So I'm actually going to break down and find the LCD here. I'm going to start with 3. I'm going to list all the multiples for 3. 3 itself, 6, 9, 12, 15. Then I'm going to go ahead and go with a different color, brown, or 6. With 6 I have 6 itself, 12, 18, and so on, 24 if we want to be diligent. And then last but not least, I'll use purple for this one, for 4. We have 4 itself, 8, 12, 16, and so on. By now I'm hoping you already spotted the LCD here. The number that the smallest number that they have in common, 12, 12, 12. So our LCD is 12. Hopefully you can see that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply everything by 12. Multiplying this side by 12. Multiplying this side by 12. Alright, cool. So here I have 7y over 3. And instead of writing 12, I'm going to break up that 12 right away into 2 times 3 times 2. Should have been 2 times 3, but you get the point. So that's the 12. I'm breaking it up, and you probably know why I already broke that 12 up. Then we have plus 19 over 6. And again, I'm going to break that 12 up into 2 times 2 times 3. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Here it's 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. I just broke them out a little differently. And then, of course, the 6 over 4. Again, 2 times 2 times 3. Just instead of writing 12, I'm writing the 12 and the broken down 4. Now, the reason I did this is so I can cancel things that I have in common. Now, here it's easy to spot. 3 and 3. Well, that's gone. Here, this 6, I can break that down into 2 times 3, right? I can. So I can cancel out 2, 2, 3, 3. So that entire 6 is gone. This 4, I can break that 4 down into 2 times 2. 2, 2, 2, 2. So this entire 4 is gone. There's nothing left there. So what is left? What is left? Over here I have nothing in the denominator, just as I planned, because that was my initial plan to get rid of the denominators. 7y times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 7y. That's going to give us a 28y, because 4 times 7 is 28. Here, again, I don't have the denominator as planned. That was my plan, to get rid of the denominators. I have 2 times 19, which is going to give us a 38. All of that equals 2, nothing in the denominator, 3 times 6, which is 18. Alright, and looks like this is another problem that's not going to come out evenly, but that's okay. We'll have a fraction for an answer. Not a problem. The further term is being added. We subtract it to get rid of it. That's gone. We have 28y equals to, now 18 minus 38. That's negative 20. Again, 18 minus 38, that's negative 20. This is still confusing you, you need to go and look at some of my earlier videos from chapter 1 to know why that's the case, why 18 minus 38 is negative 20. Alright, then all I've got left, unless I did something wrong here, I'm looking, and doesn't look like there's anything wrong here. No, that's looks all right. Oh well. Yeah, then I just divide both sides by 28. And my answer doesn't look very pretty, but that's okay. Y is negative 20 over 28. That is your answer, and if you really wanted to, you could plug this into here, although that might prove to be difficult. You can just review your work like I'm going to right now real quickly. And broke down. I copied everything down correctly. I did my cancellations. My multiplication seems to be valid. 2 times 19 is 38. Yeah, I don't see any problems. I think this is the answer. Not a very good looking answer, but it's the answer nonetheless, and sometimes we get to pick our answers. Alright, thank you very much, and good luck on the quiz.